Hi, welcome back to Tea Time with Allie and
Angelique.
We're so glad you're here. Sorry about last week. We dropped the ball.
We fell asleep and then woke up and it was 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe we're just going to be posting randomly when we think of a video idea now.
Maybe.
That might be what ends up happening.
Yeah,
so,
sorry guys.
Yeah, sorry. Life's busy and, it's just busy.
Summer's almost over.
Summer is almost over. Yeah. We're going to be moving soon, so it's going to be
a wild adventure.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
So we'll see what happens. But anyway, so today we're going to be talking about birth control.
Birth control!
I know this is kind of a controversial topic because a lot of people want to be able to regulate when they have kids and everything.
Which is understandable, but also not the purpose of marriage.
Correct. And so, like, we are going to be talking about sex, so if, like, your kids watch these, maybe don't let them watch this one unless you want them to learn about birth control. Unless they're of, like, a certain age where, like, they maybe need to listen to it. So, we're going to talk about, like, hormonal birth control. We're going to talk about different barrier methods a little bit, and we're not going to get into the science behind some of them because we didn't want to cite our sources.
No, we didn't want to have to make a short-sighted page for
Yeah.
We couldn't decide APA or MLA, so we just decided nah.
So, we're just going to talk about why the church doesn't agree with them, and kind of like what the purpose of marriage is, I guess, also in that sense, because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm married, so it's okay now to use contraceptives, but it's still not okay.
It's never okay.
Yeah, and we're not going to talk about NFP because I do know that there is some controversy behind NFP, and I just don't feel qualified enough to talk about like the controversies, and like I don't know enough about it, but I do know there is like controversy behind it.
But if you're interested, comment below and maybe we'll take the time.
Maybe, yeah. Next episode, NFP. If you don't know what NFP means, I guess you should say
Natural
that.
family
Natural
planning.
family planning,
Yeah.
Which is where you like keep track of your cycle and like
so you know when you're
only
ovulating.
Intimate with your husband whenever if
You're
you're
not
not trying to
ovulating.
get pregnant, you're not ovulating. If you are trying to get pregnant, you are ovulating. So it's like, but anyway, so let's start with, do you want to read any of this? As she was reading from the catechism earlier, but she's kind of tired, so
And
she
by
was having
kind of,
trouble.
I'm exhausted and words are really hard. So let's start with, I might butcher this completely, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you the number that goes with it so you can find it in your catechism if you're interested. I think I'm going to do the smaller one, and then maybe you could do the bigger one if you want to.
Okay, we'll see.
Okay. So it is in the Catechism of the Catholic Church, number 2399. The regulation of births represents one of the aspects of of responsible fatherhood and motherhood. Legitimate intentions on the part of the spouse do not justify recourse to morally unacceptable means. For example, direct sterilization or contraception. So this is saying that while it's okay in the eyes of the church for you to regulate when you're pregnant and when you're not, you cannot do so using any immoral means. So you can't use anything.
So like that would mean like the pill,
Condoms.
Getting a vasectomy or
IUD.
your tubes tied, IUD, yeah. And like those things are all like they were made so that sex could be more freeing, and yet it's
And more
taken
fun.
away. Yeah. You don't have the
Responsibility.
It's not even that, like it doesn't completely, none of them are 100% effective. The only thing that's 100% effective in not getting pregnant is not having sex. Like,
abstinence.
Yeah, it's literally the only thing that is 100% effective. Because, like, no matter how regular your cycle is, sometimes, like, you could ovulate and not know. Because, like, your body also responds to your stress responses.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, there are sometimes, like, maybe in a woman's cycle, like, her menstrual, like, the part of her cycle will, like, be triggered by something that was just super stressful. And so, like, you never really know, like you know, but you don't know.
Like, you can kind of predict based on what your body has done in the past, what it's going to do right now, but that's not 100% guaranteed.
If you start eating something that you've never eaten before, it can affect the way that your, like, period goes, or, like, the way that you ovulate. And so it's, like, or you take out dairy, like, things like that. There's a lot of, like, factors into, like, what goes into your body that can actually affect your menstrual cycle as a whole. And so, like, literally the only 100% effective method for not getting pregnant is not having sex. And unfortunately in our society, it's become such a, like,
wild thing.
Like, not wild. It's pretty wild.
Everybody thinks it's absolutely wild if you don't.
If you choose to wait until marriage. Yeah, like, it's abnormal at this point to follow, like,
the teachings of the church.
The teaching of the church, yeah, exactly.
Wild.
Crazy to think about, huh? Sorry, I just didn't realize that was your foot. Just played footsie with Angelique.
I wasn't prepared.
Oopsie. Anyway, so, kind of moving into that, like, a lot of people, if they have had a lot of kids already, they'll get, like, vasectomies, or they'll get their tubes tied. I know in some, I know in some states, they won't let a woman get her tubes tied unless she's, like, 35, has had 3 kids, and her husband says it's okay. Yeah. It's like there's still a lot of, like, that goes into that one, because they want to make sure that you absolutely don't want kids, or have already had kids if you wanted them.
Like, are all the way done.
Yeah, and so, like, even in that, though, I'm just like,
because, you know, the difference is that you can reverse a vasectomy, but it's almost impossible to undamage the fallopian tubes. Like, if they don't heal themselves, like, you can't fix that.
I have also heard that vasectomies don't work if you don't let them heal for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
And, like, there are other factors.
It's not guaranteed because, like, it's not like they're not, like, looking at what they're doing. They're just kind of like, this is about where this vast difference is. Let me chop. Yeah. Like, it's not 100% a science.
Yeah. So, those aren't 100, like, unless you get your tubes tied. Those, and I've actually heard of women getting pregnant after getting their tubes tied too.
It is possible. So some people heal and some people don't.
It's very rare, but, like, I've heard of that too. And then, like, the pill itself, or, like, any hormonal birth control,
so bad for your body.
It's affecting so much of your body. And I think my biggest pet peeve about birth control, I'm gonna step on my little soapbox here for a minute, is that it is prescribed for everything.
Oh yeah.
Like, they will prescribe a 13, 14, like, at 13 years old, they'll prescribe a young girl birth control because she has acne, which is a normal thing that 13-year-olds get. Or, like, I'm 27 and I get acne. Like, I get pimples.
Yeah.
And so they'll prescribe birth control for that. There's is it PCOS, or where they get the cysts on the uterus?
Yes, because it's polycystic ovarian.
Yeah. They'll prescribe birth control for that because there's no actual cure for that except going in and surgically removing it. Because instead of trying to figure that out and trying to figure out how to heal that, we're just going to prescribe people birth control so they're not in pain. We're going to put a Band-Aid on it and not learn how to fix it.
Yeah, that's where my soapbox comes in. A lot of our female health is neglected severely by studies done by medical professionals because they're are mostly funded by, like, corporations who are working for men over women. So, like, until very recently, a lot of studies about women's health products, like the tampons, and that whole controversy that just came out to light, have been neglected and ignored because it doesn't matter to the people funding it what happens to us.
Yeah.
Just like heart attacks and strokes and things like that, all of the like advice you're given for like how to diagnose if that's happening is specifically about men. Women show different symptoms, but we don't talk about that very often because it's all based in men. Because when they started studying the human body, they only worried about the men. And so they're catching up now.
Yeah.
And worrying about women at this point.
Yeah. So
I'm not a feminist. That sounded feminist, but I'm not a feminist.
Yeah.
Feminist. I'm just saying that a lot of our problems are solved by hormonal birth control because they don't know what else to do for us because they haven't studied anything for us.
Yeah, and like I think like as I've learned more about like my body and the things I'm putting in my body, like the birth control pill is just so bad for you. Like it literally makes, I don't have any studies to show it, but it makes the uterus a toxic environment for an egg to implant.
Yeah.
And so it's not that you're not conceiving a child, it's that the baby is not being implanted.
Yes. The word that they like to use is inhospitable.
Whatever, it makes it a toxic environment. I'm not gonna appease the.
I know. That's the word that they use to describe it.
The nonsense.
It's inhospitable.
Yeah. So it's not even that you can't conceive a child. It's that you're probably just passing a fertilized human being, a fertilized egg. And so it's just so sad. And then a lot of women struggle to conceive when they do want to conceive after having been on the pill because it has created this inhospitable environment. And it's just, it's so frustrating.
It's rather annoying. I don't know why I held it like that, but it's fine.
Yeah. And then, so, I think, going into like other forms of contraceptive, because we just talked about the birth control pill and like any type of hormonal birth control, it doesn't matter, I think, whatever type it is.
Yeah, because that's like hormonal, like that's the NuvaRing, that's the arm implantation.
Yeah. IUDs have hormonal and non-hormonal.
Yeah, some are hormonal.
But the non-hormonal one, I actually looked this up recently, is copper-based. And putting copper into your system, injecting it can actually cause copper like toxicity or something like that.
It's like lead poisoning, but with copper.
Yeah, and so it's like all of these solutions are not really solutions. Well, and then there are people that I've talked to that are Catholic that talk about condoms, right? But the problem really underlines in not that all of these things, because yes, the point of sex is procreation. Like that was the purpose of sex. But it's also meant for a husband and a wife, not just because you have the like security of like two people raising this child, right? You have also this intimacy that God created for husband and wife. And one of the things that you say whenever you get married is that you're going to be, what is it, like total fruit, is that like the types of love, total, fruitful, faithful, something else, free?
Yeah, there's a whole list.
There's like a 5-thing list that I probably should have looked up.
We kind of have had this idea for so long that we're like, we can talk about it.
And it's like I know all of these things about it because not only have I heard it places, but like I've done my own research, but in the past.
Yeah, so it's been a while since I thought about it and talked about it.
And so like the thing is like a lot of people think freedom is not being in a religion at all, right? They think that you are free when you are not in the confines of like
anything that gives you rules or boundaries.
Like you can't have any rules to be free.
You can't have any boundaries either.
Yeah. But the thing is I have found that as I have given myself to God more, I have become more free, right? And so in order to love somebody else and like give them the gift of your body, that's what my mom always said. But like that's what it is. Like, it's this gift that God gave us, and like you in the intimate act that is sex, like, are giving that gift of yourself, right? And that's another reason that it's so problematic to participate in hookup culture, is because
you're just giving yourself to
everybody. Yeah.
And then, like, not to be crass, but what good are you to give yourself to a spouse when you've given yourself to everybody? You know?
Yeah.
Not to be crass.
And the thing is like, this isn't to like shame anybody that's done that, right?
No, of course not.
Because you know what, I do think that there is forgiveness. Like, we believe in confession and things, and the right person will be able to have mercy like God has mercy on us, right? And so it's not something to say, oh, I can't go back to church because I've done this, this, and this. No, go back to church.
Go anyway.
But so anyway, you can't be completely free in a relationship if you are using blocking methods or hormonal birth control or getting surgeries to cause sterilization. Like, you cannot be totally free in that relationship if that is like a choice or an option. And the thing is like, you have to be open to life. That's part of the vows that you take whenever you get married, is like, in the intimate act of sex, you have to be open to life. Like, that's just the way that it is. And like, this isn't to say, because I know there are going to be some people out there that are like, well, what happens if the woman has to get her tubes tied because blah, 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 blah. And there are medical reasons, I'm sure, that a woman might have to get like a hysterectomy or a partial hysterectomy or things like that. That is not to say that those medical procedures are wrong. Yes. That is, if it's a health issue,
it's a very different issue.
It's different.
Just like the removal of an ectopic pregnancy is vastly different than an abortion.
Yep.
It's a different thing for a different purpose.
Correct. Or like, some people even think like, whenever a woman miscarries and she has to have a D&C for a miscarriage, that counts as an abortion. It does not.
See, and I absolutely hate when people call a miscarriage a spontaneous abortion. That's not right. It's not what's happening.
Yeah. So anyway, this is probably going to be our most controversial episode, I'm sure.
Sorry, guys.
I'm not. I legitimately, the thing is like, you look at the world and you look at like, I don't know, all of these things, and like, there's an attack on marriage and family, obviously.
Obviously.
I mean, just look at the world around us. Like,
I see it.
Like, divorce rates are going down, but like, they're still
But that's
high.
because marriage rates are going down. People aren't getting married anymore.
Yeah, people are deciding. Well, and like, why would they get married? Like, what? Yeah. The thing is like, if you don't save certain things for marriage, like even living just together. Living together. Yeah, like living together. People are like joining bank accounts in just a dating relationship now.
That's wild.
Which is, I mean, not all of them. I mean, but then there are some married people that are still having separate bank accounts and living like roommates, basically.
That's also wild.
And like, there's just so many factors into like why marriage rates are going down. And the thing is like, there are stats, I can't even remember where they're from, that show that like married couples that live together, have sex before marriage, and do all of these things before they're married, actually have a higher divorce rate than the people who don't. And like, I've been listening to a lot of like, I like to listen to Reddit stories, fun fact about me. And like, the people that I'm listening to right now are very secular with their responses, and I often find myself arguing with the phone, even though these people can't hear me.
Allie just likes to argue sometimes.
I really do.
And that's
a fun time
fix
for me.
for an argument.
Yeah. But like they often are like they'll say that their argument for like why you should have sex before marriage is because you have to know about sexual compatibility and things. And the thing is like it's not that you need to have sex before marriage. It's that you need to talk about your expectations of sex before marriage. And that's not to say 2 months into dating you start talking about sex.
No.
Like you should have a boundary that if you want to wait till marriage, you're both want to and not just willing to wait till marriage.
Yeah.
That's an important thing too, because I always thought in a relationship I'd be okay if they were just willing to wait till marriage. But the thing is like if you're just willing to wait till marriage, it means you don't see the value in waiting. And that doesn't mean your ideals can't change, but like the pressure on you as the person who may want to wait might be a problem for the person who just is willing.
Yeah.
And so like there's just I just wish people would see I think that's really what it is. I just wish people would see that they're hurting themselves more by doing these things than they are
is saying is fine.
Yeah, then they are actually, and like they're saying it makes them free, but they're not free. They're serving somebody, you know? And it breaks my heart a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I just want better for people. And and then the society we live in, like, anything goes really at this point. It's so gross.
It's so gross out there, you guys.
And like, it's just disheartening, I think.
Yeah.
Especially when you look at like all the statistics and things behind it. And like, yeah. It's just sad.
It is very sad.
But anyway, this got away from me, I think.
It did.
I hopped on my soapbox. And
and then you like pretended to step down for a second.
Yeah.
And then you actually didn't, and it kept going. And it was beautiful and worth saying. It is very controversial, though. I feel like this video might get some hate. But, you know, if they aren't hating, what are they doing?
You know what? If you hate me because I speak the truth, that's fine.
Doesn't hurt my feelings.
Because I don't hate you. I think that's one thing that people often think is that you have to hate somebody that
if you
disagrees.
disagree with them. Yes, it's so stupid.
But that's not the case. It's not that like I hate you. It's that I love you and I want to see better for you. And like I'm sure you're like, oh, how do you know what's better for me?
I mean,
and that's a fair point. Like I don't know you. But I know the feeling I get in like my relationship with Christ, and I want that for other people. I think is what I'm getting at here.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts, Angelique?
Don't use birth control. Sorry, guys.
Moral of the story is
I'm tired, so I'm Stacy. But yes, don't use birth control. It's not good for you. It's not good for your soul. It's not worth the not worrying about having children if that's something that you want to worry about to ruin your relationship with Christ.
yeah. Don't be a dink.
Oh.
You know what that means?
No.
Dual income, no kids is what DINK stands for.
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
Before.
I heard that the first time a few months ago, and I was like, I hate that so much.
I don't spend enough time on that side of the internet, apparently.
Yeah, you don't want to be a dink.
No, I don't.
But I mean, and honestly, all of this goes back to the feminist movement, so we could have an episode about that.
Me, I almost slipped up and said what I wanted to say, but I didn't.
Well, wait, I want you to say it now.
I can't.
Okay.
We'll for sure
You'll have
get
to
canceled.
tell me later.
I will. We'll for sure get canceled if I say what I wanted to say.
Darn. Getting canceled?
Anyway, like, subscribe, comment, and ring the bell. If you have any video ideas, a comment would be lovely, or an email, or a message on Facebook to the Facebook that goes with the Common Sense Catholic. Definitely ring the bell though, because it looks like we're not going to be very consistent with videos in the coming future.
Yeah.
Because life's
Especially
getting
in
wild
September.
and crazy.
In September, you'll be lucky to hear from us all.
Yeah, we'll be moving and things.
Yeah.
So,
We'll be moving to different. We won't be roommates anymore. We're announcing it to our fans, our 3 fans.
all 3 of you guys.
But yeah, we won't be roommates anymore, so videos are going to be a little bit harder to handle.
And it's not like a we're in a fight kind of thing.
Oh yeah, no.
We're fine. Everything's fine.
No, we're just it's just time.
It's just
Yeah.
we're
So.
moving separately in our lives, so it's fine. That sounds really sad.
Sounds
I
so
didn't
sad.
mean to.
It's okay. I get half our succulents in the divorce.
I worked really hard on those succulents.
It was in my prenup.
I remember
Anywho,
that prenup. I'm gonna need to see proof.
I'll talk to my lawyer.
Anyway, help us on our journey to be influencers, because obviously we're really concerned about being canceled, and we really
I would love to
want
be canceled.
to be influencers and have everybody follow us around and do weird stuff.
Honestly, people
for
who
us.
get canceled get more views, so I'd love to be canceled.
All right, and don't forget to keep striving for likeness. You're kind of in your bratty phase right now. I don't know what to do with it.
What do you mean?
You just stuck your tongue out of the camera. Whose 4-year-old younger sister are you?
I was my sister's 4-year-old younger sister, so you think I forgot how to do that?
I didn't
Anyway,
think you did.
let's end this video because I keep messing up your
Yes,
exit
it's
here.
okay. Don't forget to keep striving for likeness, and we'll see you in our next video if you guys come back. But we'll be here. Bye. You're just gonna sit here and wait?
Yeah.